Hello, my name is Joyce Jiang from University of York in the UK. I'm speaking on behalf of my co-author, Professor Mark Konczynski from University of Nottingham. I'm going to talk about our paper, which is recently published in Human Relations. Our paper argues for the importance of social scientists and labor activists examining the creative modes of organizing among migrant workers. International migration has become one of the most important and controversial issues in the 21st century. Alongside an increase in professional workers in leading sectors of the economy, however, the majority of migrant workers are still concentrated in low-skilled processing and elementary occupations in the UK. A key topic of concern relates to high levels of exploitation suffered by migrant workers. How to combat migrant workers' conditions of social injustice has appeared on agendas of the International Labour Organization, trade unions, and other progressive non-governmental organizations. Our paper focuses on one of the most vulnerable groups of migrant workers, migrant domestic workers in London. Being enmeshed in integrated class relations and gendered and racialized structures of oppression, migrant domestic workers experience greater exploitation than do workers in any other occupation. They are in considerable need of collective representation. However, domestic work is a sector where traditional workplace-based union organizing is almost impossible. Migrant domestic workers are often being positioned as part of the family or servants, which veils the exploitative employment relationship. Migrant domestic workers constitute extreme case in which collective mobilization appears highly unlikely. Despite all these barriers, our ethnographic study shows that non-traditional collective mobilization of migrant domestic workers has been possible. Justice for Domestic Workers, a migrant domestic work self-help group in London, has successfully transformed migrant domestic workers from laborers of love to workers with rights through three important social processes. First, it created a space for the development of communities of coping among migrant workers outside the workplace, within which sisterhood and mutuality were developed. Second, it utilized politicized learning, particularly radical art workshops, to develop labor solidarity among domestic workers. Finally, Justice for Domestic Workers has adopted a associational model of organizing that is based on participative democracy, collective leadership development, combined with autonomous links to more formal organizations such as United Union. However, we don't want to suggest this as a new ideal type of associational organizing that can or should be reproduced in other social settings. The most important lesson to learn from this case is that social scientists and labor activists should go out in search for new and creative modes of associational organizing being enacted. This will help our social theorizing of collective mobilization among migrant workers, and also help practitioners to learn from each other's strengths and weaknesses in search for better ways for migrant workers to collectively mobilize. If you find our paper interesting, here is a link. Thanks for listening.